The prosecution.
Yes.
Some people, and indeed you picked that up my train of thoughts, there are members of the Ogun State House of Assembly who were there at that time need to be brought into question. The DSS officials that did the screening when she became commissioner and then when she became minister would have to be brought into question.
Of course, we're always in a hurry. That's the problem. We're always in a hurry. I'm very emotional about this, very sentimental about it. Being a woman that we are all happy about her achievements, and it's really painful. But I hope a thorough investigation is carried out and Kemi does not remain the only victim. Everybody who is involved should be brought to book, and they either lose their own jobs as well, or whatever should happen, should happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You talked about institutions, and some people will say that that's extremely important. I mean, the fact that she applied, we're not very sure if indeed she got a response from the NYSC. I mean, a number of people will tell you their experience in even trying to obtain, say, simple court affidavits, where you're actually in the court, but you have tout who will come and say, Madam, don't worry, we'll do it for you. How do you think we can shine the light better on institutions and help them to be a little more responsive, especially to simple things that people need to get for their daily lives?
I appreciate your sentiment, and believe me, I hope we all wish that it is more seamless. Imagine, and I'm sure you've gone through that also, ordinarily trying to get a new passport in this country, or getting a driver's license, or the little things you need to do. Most people would do it through a third party now. But this is a lesson. If it is something that's got to do with your life, you've got to get up. Even when it is difficult, when it seems impossible, when all of this, we have to learn. Everybody is out there. If I may use the word, Oluwole has been in existence from forever. But some people in this country never would go there. And you're talking about her applying and not getting a response. It is not an excuse. It is unfortunate. I don't even want us to look at all these areas because it would further bring confusion. The most important thing for us to carry through here is that she made a genuine mistake, but the law, as I say again, is no respecter of persons. The law is an ass. The law will catch up with you. And so I hope everybody goes home to check what they're carrying for whatever sake.
I haven't quite said that, you know, she didn't get a response. We don't know if she did, but I want to imagine that if she didn't, I mean, if she did, will she have gone ahead to, the mistake definitely cannot be described as being genuine then, if she did get a response. That's what I'm trying to point out here. If it's a simple, if the NYSC did in fact acknowledge that she wrote them, what we don't know is if the NYSC told her if she was qualified or not, because one would have said, well, then she, you know, she carries all the blame, or she doesn't carry the blame. I mean, that's when we'll know whether or not, you know, the excuse was genuine. But looking at other matters, I mean, you talked about, you know, the role of institutions. Do you want to quickly respond to that?
The role of institutions in this country is pretty difficult. It's pretty difficult to be straightforward. Let's face it. But the most important thing is, if you need to get these things done, please go and get them done, because it will catch up with you. I repeat that. And I don't believe she didn't get a response because she got a certificate. So if she didn't get a response that you don't qualify, what certificate was she carrying around anyway? But like I said, it's painful. It's somebody who is doing it right, held the office in humility, has done so much, has traveled, has kept her bit. She has kept quiet. She's one of the best ministers we've ever had in this country. We respect her a lot, and this unfortunate thing has happened. It's unfortunate, but it's the law.
How do you think that this is going to play out now with politics? Because one of the reasons why perhaps this has come to the fore is because we're in the political season. And, you know, now you now find a bickering between parties over this particular matter. How do you expect things to play out as an ordinary citizen watching what is going on in the polity?
You know, the politicians are at another level. I worry about the ordinary citizen, and I'm here, I worry about the young people of this country. I worry about people who have not had their youth corps, who are contemplating coming home to serve. I just want them to know that it is important that if you come into the country, you think Nigeria is so corrupt, you can get away with everything. Nigeria is getting better. You may not be able to get away with it. How it's going to play out, we read in social media that Mrs. Adeosun has left the country. I hope some investigations will go on, and she will find a way to resolve this. It's got to be resolved. The world has become a global village. It's an international problem. This is forgery. This is a crime, unfortunately. She's not a criminal person, but she's caught in this web of not knowing. So it is important that we appeal that this is properly investigated. We appeal that nobody is protected, just like she wasn't protected or she wasn't able to be protected. And we hope that everybody pays the price. But the lesson is that for the young people, for ordinary citizens, they should know that it is you and I that can get Nigeria going. It's not the president, it's not the governor. In our little corner, we should do all the right things that we need to do.
You know, some interesting things about this, because first, the law is an ass, and then you say that ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Mm-hmm. But some lawyers too think that the presidential pardon can only happen after prosecution.
Yes.
So that means, who knows, if the investigation continues, she may have to face the music, after which the presidential pardon can then come. So that means that she may not be able to hold any office, any public office afterwards.
Presidential pardon, I don't think, excludes her from holding public office, if indeed she gets it at the end of the day. But before you get to the level of presidential pardon, like you said, there's got to be some prosecution. And she's not alone. She couldn't have acted alone. You know, she couldn't have acted alone. So she should not be the one to carry all this by herself. She's at the center of it, but NYSC, DSS, Ogun State House of Assembly, all the people who have helped her along the way. But you must know, let's stop calling only government. She worked in the private sector before now. That's also important. So the company she worked for is also in trouble.
Oh dear.
There's so many people. So everybody concentrates on government, but we don't look at it from our own selves. She probably got the exemption before then.
Which shouldn't have been.
Which should not have been. And then this issue of she came in, or she got her first Nigerian citizenship at 34, with the passport they say she got at 34. She's a Nigerian by right, because her parents are Nigerians. She can choose not to be a Nigerian, but by birth, she's Nigerian. And Nigeria allows dual citizenship. So there's nothing wrong with this. So we need to know that the fact that she got her first Nigerian passport at age 34 does not mean that she then obtained the Nigerian citizenship there.
But speaking about functionality of institutions, it's amazing, because the NYSC has since cleaned up, well, should I say cleaned up their acts, given the way it operated then and now, because now this is a lot easier to check some of those things. But the NYSC were not the ones who spoke up about this lately. It was after they set up the committee, then she spoke about this herself upon knowledge of the findings of the committee set up by the president. The NYSC have not been forthcoming on this one. Are they complicating matters?
The NYSC, with due respect to them, is an institution the federal government needs to look at. A lot of things go on. I've had three children who have served. None of my children did I allow to go back to NYSC to start lobbying to be changed. You can check the facts. One of them went as far as Taraba. He missed a bomb by whiskers. But the truth of the matter is that it's us, parents. But you really, on the other hand, can't blame parents. There's a lot of insecurity in the country, you know. And so children who are coming into Nigeria for the first time, they get thrown into corners. And we're praying and panting till they get back home. So I think the whole saga about the NYC needs to be looked at. Is it really working? It's a fantastic thing. It is, because you get to meet all sorts of people, you make lifetime friends, parts of Nigeria you may never ever go to, you get to see. But is it really working? Or like everything else in Nigeria, has it become a class? Has it become a class thing? Who do you know? Where do you go to? How do you serve? What do you do? You know, we need to overhaul our institutions and make a lot of things seamless.
You know, when we talk about institutions, we'll talk about institutions and overhauling them when we come back from this break, because there's still this other matter of so many fraud certificates out there. But let me just put this across before we go. In this current administration, we've heard news of forged documents back and forth, alleged forged documents. Some are WAEC results, some are NYSC, some are university degrees. What does that say of our institutions themselves?
Carelessness.
Carelessness?
Carelessness.
Why would you blame the institutions for carelessness? You've mentioned the parents, for instance, who are always lobbying for their children to be changed, for instance. Wouldn't you look at the side of the parents?
Do you know what I love about Nigerians? When there's a good leadership, they follow. If they know, for example, that you can't get past that gate because of the person that is there, the word spreads around, and when they're going there, everybody's on their toes. So it's the people who make the institutions in this country. For God's sake, what legacy are we giving to our children? They are looking, they are learning, they're watching. If every parent would say, look, youth service won't kill you. This 1 year, we've had unfortunate incidents, but let us look at the statistics. So how many? How many Americans have died at war? So how many? How many? We have to support this country. All of us must be standing on our toes to say, in my own corner, I'm going to get it right. If the man at the NYSC says, it is not possible, the computer fixes these things, and this is the system. Of course, there are exceptions with Youth Corps, believe me. On health grounds, you get a lot of exemption. You get listened to marriage, pregnancy, and all of that. So it's not like you're pregnant or you're a sickler and then they don't listen to you. The law allows that. But
yeah, it's interesting. You know, there are some scenarios that we'll focus on when we come back. For instance, if somebody prints a certificate and someone goes with it and it doesn't come from NYSC, what do they do in the circumstance? But let's go to break. We'll come back and look at that and some other items in a moment. Join us again.